the whole point of doing what we do, being CRSS and Certified Recovery Sports Specialist.
Okay, that's what you are.
Yes. We we're here to give back to our community, use what lived experience we have to help others, and the organizations that we work with or through help make what we do possible. So when we all come together, we're able to better help the people we serve. So yeah, it's not like what you can't or can't mention. It will never be like that here, So,
Yeah. So can you tell us where we're sitting today?
This is the Recovery Den. The Recovery Den is something that I wanted, to step out and do for years now. The name came along, in the creation of it, but it's a place meant to help break barriers that other organizations that have come into the community to help people get into treatment. We don't have any resource that helps people continue their care other than outpatient, but to help people along that path, whatever that need is, like help finding a job, help finding housing, help with, just counseling, just needing somebody to be there, help with transportation, those kind of things. Now, we have resources that do help touch on those things, but to follow through with it and like make sure that they're actually connecting with these resources and doing their part, because it's really hard. I mean, even when you've been in a program for a year and you come back home, to know how to be able to
function.
Yeah, to figure out what's going to work for you and the realm that you're in your own home. Some come back to their own community. And for me, people were saying they can't stay here and get sober here in Walker County, and I did, and I had no resources. I don't want people to feel that way. And that might be the case for a lot of individuals. They may need new scenery, new environment, new people, new everything in their life for them to get sober, but it shouldn't be because they didn't have the resources necessary to stay sober in Walker County. So that's the point of the Recovery Den.
You can only do so much with like programs and stuff. Like you said, then you're like, it's not like they cast you out, but it's kind of up to you.
Yes, it is. It is, and it's super hard. I went into a residential program. It was not a program that was meant for me, and so we went to court, and I was like, I'm not staying here. I'll go back to jail if that's what I need to do, but I'm not staying here. And because it was my first time being and having like big girl charges, they had no disagreements with letting me out, put me on state probation, court referral, and an outpatient program. And I'm so glad that they did, because that saved my life. Outpatient is where I was able to find groups that worked for me. I went to, NA three nights a week, but these groups in my outpatient program were completely different. We actually got to work together. I learned a lot about myself, and I was able to get coping skills and learn how to deal with triggers and things like that through my outpatient program. And then I got counseling, and so that is what really saved my life, because I have a lot of mental health issues as well, and I dealt with mental health issues like in my teenage years. But after having my first child, I experienced in postpartum depression and not even knowing what I was going through. That's when I started using, substances to numb. We all, one thing, no matter what we all use, the one thing we all have in common is we're trying to numb something. And for me, it was trying to numb what I was feeling mentally, So
What substance would you use?
it started out with methadone, and then I got sober and then started using alcohol and Xanaxes.
Sober from methadone?
Mm-hmm. Wow. It was rough and it was painful. It like my bones craved it,
Yeah.
And then came back to Walker County, didn't change anything, was actually came back to Walker County homeless and, was using what I could when I could. Yeah. And, wound up marrying someone just to save me off the streets. And that was not for the right purposes. That never worked out, But I was using Xanax and Roxycontins at the end. I mean, I was taking ungodly amounts every day. Huh?
How did you fund your addiction?
Well,
if you're comfortable.
No, so it was always just put myself in situations where I could get high for free. When I worked, I spent every dime I had to get high. Yeah. But then when I got tired of living the life that I was living and tried to get sober, I got a job and was staying with a family member, met the man that I'm married to now that, has been a godsend to me. Mm-hmm. And then we had a child together, and like 9 months after she was born, I went to the dentist and they gave me a prescription of pain pills and a prescription of Valium, and that's all it took for me to relapse. Mm-hmm. And so for the last few years of my addiction, I was stealing from him. Yeah. And I mean, he would have to hide his wallet, and most of the time I would find it. Yeah. And if I didn't find it, I would break into his van and steal all of his change and all of his, ones or fives or tens that he had in there, and that's how but I went to a doctor. And got a prescription. So, in my mind, I thought that since I wasn't taking all those and I was selling a lot of them, that it wasn't that bad. I had it under control. But in reality, my husband found me in the bathtub with our 3-year-old daughter drowned because I nodded out in the bathtub, and then I want to, chew him out, cuss him out, and throw hands at him because it wasn't that big of a deal. It ain't like that. You're overreacting, things like that. And then when it all said and done, I had gotten pregnant and had mine and my husband's second daughter together, and he already had 2 boys that lived with us and called me mom, and I used in that last pregnancy, and tried to justify it by saying that, oh, well, I'm not even taking what I'm prescribed, things like that. And then the day that she was born, there's something that postpartum depression was deeper, darker than it had ever been before. And I wanted to die. Everything that I was doing was to take my life without killing, literally putting a bullet, in my head or slitting my wrist, they would have been better off without me is how I felt. And that's when I tried heroin for the first time. But I never got to that point because I got arrested. I was put in jail before I ever got to where I became a full-fledged IV user. So I feel like that was God intervening, and saying you're meant for more than that. Yeah. And I got arrested, I think 5 times in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then, judge said, no, you still have, felony charges from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit in there.
Yeah.
So he revoked my bond, and there was no way I could get out without a cash bond, and that was like a $30,000 cash bond or something like that. So I'm sitting in jail, and it hadn't registered to me that I can't bond out, and then sitting in there for about 3 days, I started experiencing withdrawal so bad. I was hallucinating. I was, vomiting, using the bathroom on myself, everything. My lips turned blue. And if it wasn't for being in an open dorm back then, I would be dead today, because the girls that were in that dorm with me saved my life. They were sitting there giving me chest compressions until the jailers got up there, but they put me in what they call the hole, and it's just a room with a hole in the floor, because of me being so sick, and those 5 days of being like that. I saw my kids get killed in a hallucination because of me. And when I came to, I thought my kids were dead. And that's what it took to change my life. Like, if that would not have happened, I still do not believe, because jail was nothing to me. Yeah. I bonded out, and I went back and done the same thing. Yeah. But if it, I'd already lost custody of my firstborn, and I was not willing to lose the life of my youngest two. They meant everything to me, and where my actions might not have spoken how much I loved my family, they were everything to me. And so but that's what it took for me. To me, that was God saying, this is how your life's going to turn out if you don't change your ways. Yeah. You can have it this way, or you can be somebody to do something about it. Yeah. So, that was it. I was willing to do whatever I needed to do. And, Judge, he agreed to let me go to residential treatment. And unfortunately, at that time, that just wasn't the place for me. And it all worked out. Like, everything was put in place. Every program, everything was put in place to help me be successful in my recovery. So now, the first 3 years of my recovery was not easy. When I started getting counseling in my outpatient program, that's what worked for me. And so therapy is huge in my recovery today. Having a recovery family is huge to me. Being able to go to them and talk to them about things that, have triggered me in a way, it helps me respond in a healthy way instead of, a detrimental way. That is huge for me. And not having anywhere other than 12 steps, which are wonderful, but I needed more than that, because my family didn't understand what I was going through. My husband had never experienced any kind of addiction. He just didn't understand why I couldn't just walk away from it. My mom, same way. I needed something more, and I didn't understand what I needed. So the first 3 years of my recovery was really, really hard, especially when I completed my outpatient program, because I didn't have that anymore. Yeah. And so I wanted it to be something for my community that I needed in my recovery. I wanted to help make a change here, because I was viewed as, it's not about if you relapse, but when you relapse. Yep. And that's not how it should be. Right. And the one thing that a lot of people may not understand is, and think it might sound selfish, is my recovery comes first. It comes before my kids, my family, everything, because I don't have my recovery, then I don't get to do this work. I don't get to go home. I don't have a family. I don't have anything. So that means everything.
Yeah, a
To
lot of people. Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
cut
you're
you
fine.
off. A lot of people, you know, don't understand that too. With it is a selfishness to it, but you have to be like you said because, like, we don't, we just can't do. I don't want to say normal things, but like we have to focus on what we have to focus on, and that's like a big part of our lives now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people may not understand it, but they don't have to. But
Right.
that's why we're doing what we're doing is to help people watch and people understand to know that's like that's a big part of it, and to like see people walk in recovery, to when people do the things they do, to understand why they're doing it,
Right.
because you have to. And like that's where I was telling a guy we were working at his house the other day. Obviously not gonna mention names, but I was sitting. This is the day before you came and worked with me, but we're sitting at their little kitchen island eating lunch, and he's like, I was telling him about this, and he's I was like, yeah, while we do our podcast, I was an alcoholic. He goes, hey, well, you are, and I was like, well, in a way, yes, sir, but I want to take out the narrative because I was an alcoholic. Now I'm not. That's just what I make my mind believe now.
Right.
Yeah, sure, you might think that, but I want to take out that.
Right.
I don't want to be an alcoholic. I am, but I was.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Right.
And
It absolutely it does, because like I dealt with that a lot. Being angry about all the things that I was known as, and like even my husband sitting there laughing about stories, telling stories about things that I did when I was in addiction and in active addiction. And like, I was like so angry because I didn't want to be known as that anymore. I'm not that same person anymore. And where, yes, this is a disease that I fight every single day, that's not who I am. Where today now, like I'm able to own all that I've done in my past,
Yeah.
and I'm thankful for all that I've went through. I'm not thankful for things that I've done to hurt people,
Yeah.
but I'm thankful for the experience because it made me who I am today, and I would not be the woman, the mom, the wife that I am today without all of that.
Yeah.
It was a radical change, and I've been able to grow so much. And everybody has their own pathway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their own requirements, and some of it's like there's things that I really needed in my recovery that I didn't know until a couple of years down the road. That I'm thankful for, because I keep an open mind. I feel like another thing that we experience so much in recovery is people that are biased to one way, their own way, close others out. And that is another stigma that we fight around Walker County so much, being judgmental of other people's recovery. And I want to see that change. That's just a hard thing, because as long as we're living productive lives and we're bettering ourselves, and we're not, sticking needles in our arms and snorting pills up our nose and, hurting ourselves and others, or putting ourselves and others at risk.
Yeah.
Like, we should be supportive of each other. We should be active in our recovery community. But we have,
fast that is.
yes, and we have a lot of people that don't want to be, because they're strictly this way or that way, or I know that was way off track.
No,
but,
no.
but it's something that that we see a lot of in Walker County, and that's why we have created the Walker County Recovery Community, and that's why we do these recovery events. And now that the certified recovery sports specialists that work in Walker County have all come together, we've been able to make huge strides and things that are happening in Walker County. Like when we come together, it has made a huge difference, because it's not just the organizations that we work with, but our own lived experience. So we connect people that we're in front of to each other, so that our lived experiences can better help those individuals alone. Our resources may be able to help these individuals in a way that, but still it's just coming together as a team and working
Yeah.
together as a team to make a difference in our community.
We've interviewed a few people here in Walker County, and a lot of people have talked about you, Paige, and it's great ways, obviously. So, and what you're doing, and just the things that are going around here, with what you do, what Christina and Deborah and them do,
Carl does up at
and Carl. That's what I was gonna say. With even with your the police force, I guess you want to call it. You can tell people care and they want to change.
Yes.
Especially in Walker County.
Yes.
And from my experience of just being able to hang out with people here, because Walker County, it does have a stigma. It's everybody's like, Walker County, ooh.
Yes.
Yes. But from my point of view here now, it's wonderful of the things that's going on here, honestly, because the people that do care.
Well, court referral, they're the reasons that the recovery den was made possible. They've donated this whole space, to where all I have to pay is a power bill every month.
That's awesome.
If it wasn't for them, the recovery den wouldn't be possible, and that in itself is huge. You know how many times I've been through that office as an offender, but for them to see the change within myself, but that the work that we're doing in Walker County and support you is huge. And to be able to see programs like CART come into the jail,
what is CART again? Say that again.
CART.
Yeah, what is that? What's the acronym for?
Carl
was saying something about it.
Comprehensive accountability recovery
treatment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing.
To have programs like that would have been life-saving to myself, experiencing the withdrawals that I experienced when I was in jail, and that I've been sober for 9.5 years now. And so to have something like that back then, that could have been, yes. And there's probably other lives that could have been saved that experienced things like that, so that's why things like that are so important to happen in this community, to be able to have the judge that, sentenced you tell you he's proud of you, that makes every bit of difference in the world to me, because at the end of the day, if I was to die tomorrow, I know that I have been a good influence in my kids' life. I'm my girl's role model today, and that means everything to me, because 10, 11, 12 years ago, I was homeless. I had nothing. I was unhealthy. My family had nothing to do with me. I had a daughter that I did not see or speak to, because I wasn't allowed, and why would I be? That would have been detrimental to her, so So knowing that I am who I am today and the changes that I've been able just to make within my own home and my own life is enough for me. But I want that for my entire county. I don't want for people to think that they can't get clean and stay clean here,
Yeah.
you know, or get sober and stay sober, get in recovery and stay in recovery. Because it is possible, and it don't matter what you've been through or what you've done. You know, a good life is always possible,
Yeah.
and you can be a part of making a difference in your community. You know, so that's what we strive for.
Well, I know you said it earlier. Is there's a lot of different ways to get sober and stay sober, and that's what we try to we try to do to offer as many perspectives on the walk to recovery or sobriety as it is. Because what worked for Paige, what worked for Chase, what worked for Nikki or Chris may not work for you, but having those resources out there and say, look, hey, I tried this. It's not exactly how I see my recovery going. Well, you have this, or it might be a culmination of all these things pulled together for, because really I think that's really any recovery. You're kind of pulling, or for my recovery, I can't say for yours, but from all these different, from AA to NA, from
church to therapy,
to all these
yes.
things collectively, I've pulled out the tools that I've needed to maintain my sobriety. But then there's other people who have stuff to win away.
Yes.
And that's great. And you can reach your community to that. And I'm not knocking it. I know you're not knocking that either, but there are a lot of different ways. But Walker County having these different, how many times we hear, I'm not a Christian. I ain't with that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Cool. That's cool, buddy. That's fine. I promise you. There's a lot of people, atheists or agnostics or people that, whatever, that are sober that have found a way to maintain their sobriety without that. Now then you have the flip side, and then you have all in between. So I'm a very, very big proponent. I think I can speak with Chase when I say this. We are. I don't care if you stand on your head, bro. If that's what if that's what you need to do, then do it. And I think, like the Recovery Den, Ross, what Carl does up at the jail, just having these in the state influence on the county, that if you want to get sober,
you can
get sober.
That's absolutely right.
And
that's the most important factor. You know, of course you gotta want it.
Yep.
But someone can want it so much and not receive what they're needing and not be successful.
Yeah.
Once we find what works, it flies. You know, it flies. It just is. It makes it so. That's why it hadn't worked so many times before. You know, like today, I have so many things that I use in my recovery to help me maintain my recovery, but now I'm able to go back and I say every time I tried before, why it didn't work, what happened, no matter how hard I tried, what had happened to make me be unsuccessful in that attempt. So that is absolutely right.
And I want to say this too. I know a lot of people watch this, do not deal with addiction. And we're not necessarily saying so for mental health, or you just might be in a spot in your life that you feel lost. And I know there's a lot of resources out there to kind of pull from in that aspect. I know we have deal with addiction and in that, but for people out there that are just deal with depression, deal with anxiety, again, this might be the law. They don't know what to do. I'm telling you, when you want something and you want to change, there are definitely things out there. People more than willing to help you and to point you in a way. But I know for myself, it starts with me. It starts with you.
Right.
You can want it as much as you want for somebody, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to me, you, to take care of the selfishness that we talk about, to take care of what I do, and we say it all the time, Chase and I, like, you can go out and have 2 beers. That's fine. I cannot.
Yes.
You might can smoke some weed. I cannot.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, or whatever. And again, I'm not knocking any of that stuff. You might can do it. I just know I cannot do that.
Right.
Stuff. And again, it's just we want to. Man, I've seen it done so many different ways, man. And for me to say, "Oh, that's not the way," and then you see their life and they're contributing to society. They have things. You know, they're not even the same person. I can't look at them and say, "Hey, what you're doing is not working." You know, I can't knock that, man. I can't. I'm not going to knock that or judge that in any capacity at all. But again, just alluding to the fact of that it looks a lot different for a lot of different people.
Right.
You know, and I'm thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful for that. I know for myself and for people, obviously, in the program we were in, is a lot of individuals from Walker County, like, they'll pay for your way to a rehabilitation center. You know, if you ask me, of course, I'm a little bit biased, but I think it's, if not the best, one of the best around here. I know some people might disagree or agree or whatever, but it's worked for me, or it's working for me. And but if you would have asked, see, I was educated in Walker County, and if you would have asked me, I don't know, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, like, went Walker County, I think you're high, man, because it was, I mean, because everybody knew about Walker County. Everybody knew about Walker County and the obvious problems that Walker County has was dealing with. But I think really Walker County being a testament not only to the surrounding communities, but really to the state, to a lot of different places that, like, hey, it sucks and it's hard, and you're going to have to do some things different, man. But if you want to change, there are ways and things for you to start making a difference. You know,
Right.
but instead of changing, hey, my community, let me start with myself, and let me start with how I do things, and me reaching out. You know, so again, you know, I know Walker County because I was educated. I have a bunch of friends here, and but man, just seeing that in that aspect, not only in the recovery community, but Walker County as a whole, where it's you know how it's, I don't know the right word to articulate, but how it's evolving or getting better or whatever, can be a testament to not only people but other communities who may or may not be dealing with the same things that Walker County is. And I know places like the Recovery Den, Nikki, again, I said Carl, all the people associated with this, is y'all are on you're on the edge of the sword in a sense, because you're in direct contact. We're talking about that people come in here you're in direct contact with this community. It's not one of those things that you talk to groups or you're at conventions that you know what I'm talking about, that you're around, but you're really on the boots on the ground for that. So when you say you understand or you have a real understanding of this community, you see it,
Right.
the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, and I think that, and I don't say that demeaning, but I do say it in the fact of that you have a real understanding of what's going on,
Right.
and the real needs of what this community may need. But I forgot I was going to ask you. So, how does the Recovery Den? I know we've talked a little bit about it as off camera, but how does it directly serve this community and what it does?
Okay, so the Recovery Den is a place that people can come to feel comfortable in their recovery, to get services to find recovery, or to get services to help along the recovery. So it's not just a one service place. You can come in and you can, if someone's needing help getting into treatment, you know, or finding out about resources, or just wanting to talk about what is available, you know, for them, they can come here and I'm going to connect them to the right resources. You know, if they need, if they are coming home from, you know, a treatment center and wanting continuum of help with continuum of care.
Yeah.
Going to connect them with those resources, peer support, case management, transportation, you know, those things. They can get clothing, they can get toiletries. The toiletries has helped a lot of the people that are going from jail into treatment.
They don't have nothing. They literally have the clothes on their back.
Right.
We've seen it a bunch. Man.
Right. So being able to help with those things, even being able to do blankets and pillows for individuals go into treatment centers that require you to bring those things, you know, and they don't have somebody that can help them get those items. Being able to help with those things, and then the clothing, you know, because I've been that person that had nothing, and we don't take clothes that are nasty, ruined, or, you know, just hanging on their last thread, because it's demeaning enough not to have anything.
Oh, yeah.
And so we want people to be able to have nice clothes. And so whether they're going into treatment needing clothing, or they're coming home and need you know, clothes for a job interview, or, you know, to wear to be able to go to classes in, or, you know, something, they can come here and get nice clothes.
Some nicer casual clothes,
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yes.
Whatever they need. So if do you offer anything here? Say a family member has someone in addiction. Is there any resources that they could come here to get, or it has to be the direct person? How's that work?
Well, the family member can come here and we can talk to them and explain we would need to talk to that individual, you know, but we can explain to them, and it's happened, you know. Well, we need to talk to this individual. They're gonna, you know, need to want it themselves, because that is obviously, you know, the most important thing. But explain to them just the whole process of how things go, because the system of care can be complicated when it comes to recovery. Yeah. So being able to help them navigate that, to know what to expect, and help them through it, you know, that alone helps, just being able to explain it. But yes, it would have, like, to help someone, it would have to be that individual.
Yeah, because I know for a lot of people, or I say I'll just use myself, I knew what to expect going to jail. I was more comfortable in jail than going to necessarily a recovery program, because you don't really know what's going on. I know what's going to happen. I'm comfortable with going to jail, you know, but I guess having someone in the know to I guess guide them is, because this is new to a lot of families. They don't necessarily know what to do, or how to do it, or when to do it. But I was going to ask you this too as well. And so, say somebody gets out of a treatment center and they were to come here, is there any way, like, are y'all attached to like a career center, or like employment, gainful employment, or anything else like that?
Yeah, that we have on the job training, and then we have the career center.
The career center here in
Jasper.
Jasper, okay.
Yes. So we could connect them to the career center, yeah. But if someone needed help, like just applying for a job, they can come here and use
like
a
resume.
Yeah, we can help. We can help with the resume, but there's also like the what is it called? WCCT. I can't think of the entire name of it right now, but anyway, they help with resumes and things like that too. So, but yeah, they could come here and get
what if
those.
Somebody has like felonies? I mean, is that a problem?
No,
Okay.
No,
you know, a lot of
yeah.
people they have trouble finding jobs because they're convicted.
Absolutely, and trust me, I from my own experience completely get it, you know. But no, that does not. Actually, the on-the-job training helps the individuals with felonies more than anyone else, because it's going to connect them, teach them, help them learn new skills, and, you know, or new trades, and pay them to do it, and then they're, you know, connecting them to jobs to have afterwards. So
and again, they come here.
No, we would take them there.
So you would offer them transportation there
if they need it.
That's awesome. And I just know, and I asked you that question because I know Chase and I. There's a lot of guys coming out of the program we were in programs. I went to 7, but before that, coming out of the program, they had no. They might be from South Alabama, or they might be from wherever. They have no connections. They don't know what they're going to do. So they graduate this program. They're like, okay, what do I do now? And following that question up, is there any place like a halfway house or anything else that maybe they could get into or whatever?
I mean, they have Hope for Women here.
Hope for Women.
And then they have 3D. Yeah, so it's that's kind of
that's the next step.
Yeah, so but Hope for Women is kind of like the Foundry.
Yeah.
Okay. 3D is also like the Foundry, year-long programs, but I know the Foundry has changed that, but if that's what they need, they can apply to go into those programs and get that help with the stability side of things that they need.
I got you. So it would, and that's open. I say these resources are open. Is it for Walker County residents? Is it for, how would one, I know obviously besides somebody shows up, is there any stipulations, basically what I'm trying to say, for one to?
Right. So like Hope for Women, if they have severe mental health issues and they take like certain medications, they're not going to be able to go there. Every program has stipulations or requirements. So, like, which I appreciate, because if you just take anybody and everybody, it can affect the people in the houses, what progress they've made. Yeah. But it can also be detrimental to the person that's entering that program that is needing other services that aren't being provided. So, yeah.
Wherever they need at. So what is your role here at Recovery Den? What do you do exactly?
I'm the founder and the executive director here.
So what is it like? What is your day? I guess
everything. I do everything. Like
how do you stay connected with you? How do you get out there and let people know about the Recovery Den?
Outreach events. We do Narcan distribution throughout
the Narcan training here.
Mm-hmm.
You do that too.
Yes. So when we go out and we do Narcan distribution, like just getting out in different communities, different events, things like that. Mm-hmm. Taking business cards, flyers, marketing, things like that, and then being connected already into the community and existing resources, you're able to pass that information along. And then the Healing Network, which is a network that started out with 6, and now there's over 30 different organizations, maybe more than that, but being able to pass that information along within that circle, but mainly boots on the ground, walking out in your community and letting people know, talking to people and telling them, that this resource is out here.
You got an event coming up, the 31st? You want to talk about that?
That is the Overdose Awareness Walk. This will be
Where's it at?
It's at the Courthouse Square, 19th Street.
Where's the courthouse?
Huh?
In Jasper?
Downtown Jasper on 19th Street or Main Street. It starts at 6:30. Is it 6:30 or 6? 6:30. Yeah, it starts at 6:30, and this will be our third year doing the overdose awareness walk. Then we have Soberfest that we do every September, and it's September 28th this year, and
Is it here in Jasper?
It's the same place, Courthouse Square, at 6:00.
6:00. So the 31st at 6:30 p.m. And it's, what's the name of it again?
Overdose Awareness Walk.
Yeah, Overdose Awareness Walk. And then September 28th is Soberfest.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts at what time?
6.
6:00. And so Recovery Den will be there set up.
Yes.
You'll have flyers.
Yes.
Flyers there. You
They might have flowers.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll have flyers and cards, like marketing materials.
Yeah.
We normally do our T-shirts for Toiletries Drive during Soberfest. We
So
collect.
people can bring stuff to you there directly, or they need to bring it here.
No, at the event. It would be set up at the event.
Okay.
People can always donate things directly here, but the T-shirts for Toiletries is always at the event. During the event, people bring in toiletries, they get a shirt.
Oh, okay, cool. So they need to bring like deodorant, toothbrushes. I mean, anything else like that.
Yeah.
Is it 1 for 1, or then you bring like 3 or 4 or something?
We've never set an amount.
Yeah,
I mean,
what would
yeah.
a normal, like what would someone bring?
So, bring the little travel size shampoos or shampoo and conditioner, but a lot of people bring a shampoo and conditioner set, or they'll bring, a soap set. Some bring like a whole shampoo, conditioner, soap, and razor, but it consists of, feminine hygiene products. It consists of like ponytail holders, wash rags, loofahs, bar soap, not used.
Yeah, obviously not used.
You would be surprised with
Some used soap.
unused toiletry items.
Yeah.
It would be greatly appreciated. Razors for people to be able
Some
to.
good old toothpaste.
Yeah.
Yes, alcohol-free mouthwash.
Listerine, I was about to say.
Yeah.
I got you.
Those items. Yeah.
I got you. So if one wanted to give to the recovery den or give back, donate their time, money, whatever it is, would they just come in here, or can they contact you directly? How does
Yeah,
that
they can
work?
come in here. They can contact me.
How do they contact you?
They can call the Recovery Den phone. It's 205-961-0307. 205-961-0307. And then they could email me, and that's pbritton@therecoveryden.org.
Okay. Can you spell that, please?
PBRITTON, and then at therecoveryden.org.
Okay.
I'll give you a
good.
card
I just
too.
wanted, somebody that was writing.
What we can do is on my new nifty editing thing, we'll take a picture and put it here at the end.
Yeah.
We'll definitely put that at the end.
And then
Somebody wants to donate their time, how would they do?
Just-
is there a background check associated with that? How does that work?
no, anybody and everybody's willing to come in and donate their time. If they want to come help in that clothes closet, it would be great
Hey,
because
y'all
we
come out
need
here and
it.
help in the clothes closet.
But
Yeah, 1608.
but yeah, they can give me a call. Make sure, because especially the month of August, I'm only going to be here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Have a couple of grant applications that I'm working on, and so Tuesdays and Thursdays would be great. Now, if there's an individual that needs something from here, all of the certified recovery support specialists that are boots on the ground working in the community have access to the Recovery Den. Like Christina and Deborah with 13 Loft Ministries, they have access to the Recovery Den as well. So if you're actively working with individuals in the community, you have access. So if it's some of their people that need something like toiletry or clothing or Narcan wise, they can come here and get it when I'm not here, but otherwise, yeah, they can just give me a call, and if they need something on a day that I'm not here, I can always meet someone here. So
Cool. Cool.
You got anything else, Chase?
I don't think so. We just appreciate you and what you do. And thank you for
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Walker County appreciates you.
I appreciate y'all talking to people and putting people's different, stories out there. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about you. We've been
Thanks.
waiting for this day.
Thank
And
you.
you got to get us on our graduation day.
Yeah, congratulations. I think
That
that's so
was
awesome.
pretty cool. She said that. We're like, we graduate that day. She's like, well, let's do it. I was like, all right.
Straight from graduation. Hey guys, thank you. We appreciate y'all. Hey, show Paige some love. Show the recovery Den some love. What is that? Hashtag talk recovery to me. Check them out. Check us out. Check her out. Hey, just check everything out, guys. We appreciate y'all. Thank you.